The reason I do videos like this is because I want you to grow smarter, stronger, better. And to do this, you must learn about the dangers in the world. But at the end of the day, always remember, I believe in you. I believe you could make it, even though the world will be against you.
Join the Helldivers.
Controlling people through fear is a very old tactic used by governments and corporations till this day. Controlling people of what they say, how they act, what they do, everything through fear. The fear of maybe you're gonna lose some rights, so you should vote this way. Maybe you're gonna miss out on this. Like in video games where they put the fear of missing out, they put a timer and you must get the money today to get that item. Because if not, you're gonna miss out. And that fear drives your actions. They control you. There's so many levels of control out there through fear. The fear that you actually want to do something and you don't do it because you're afraid what others will say. You're afraid how others will act against you. Even if you know that what you're about to do is the right thing, the pressure the group puts on you, you decide to hold back and you become as evil as the group, because it's more important to follow the group and their mentality than to actually do the right thing. And that's a very big problem nowadays. Nowadays, people hold very high ideologies, and whoever doesn't follow their ideology or their moral belief will be burned at the stake. And that's part of why everybody lives in fear. Fear to speak, fear to say, fear to act. And this fear might be controlling your life. It might be holding you back from making a YouTube channel. It might be holding you back from doing that thing that you really want to do because you're in fear of how people around you are going to react. And then forever you're going to live with this regret in your heart, in your soul, that you didn't do it because you decided to please the group. You decided to please the majority, and fear is holding you back. Now, if all this is true, you need to recognize what is creating this fear. You need to fight through and become who you truly are and get past all these fears, because the only fear you should have is the fear of death. And you shouldn't even fear death. Death is just part of life. We're all gonna be there at some point. A person without fear is a person that cannot be controlled. A person without fear is a person that is free, truly free. A person that has the power in their own hands and nobody has power over them. Speaking about people that want to have power over others, they're called narcissists. There's a problem with narcissists. And I'll tell you what, when dealing with a narcissist person, you need to understand they are not interested in friendships, okay? They want power, they want attention, they want validation. Even if it means distorting reality, even gaslighting you into questioning your own thoughts. You know, we've all run into these persons that they put our own thoughts against us and make us question our own morals. The crazy thing about this, as they do it without hesitation, they do not feel guilty about this, okay? There's a lot of people out there nowadays that are toxic narcissists that just want to gaslight you to feeling guilty. And through that guilt, they'll impose their moral beliefs on you so you could feel guilty enough and question your own self, and they'll use that against you, distorting reality, like I said, so that way you're more vulnerable and easily manipulated. They'll easily manipulate you once they have their claws on your brain, and it's over. And then the more people join the group, the more the others are encouraged or feel the pressure to be part of the group, because they don't want to be the odd one out. And this is a very toxic and narcissistic way that a lot of government companies that have these people in, and they just want to have this control like a tentacle monster over everybody in the group, until the group just becomes an ideological group that just follows, and they group together to go against others and basically bully them into being one of them or suffer destruction.
A few moments later.
FBI, open up!
Now I want to show you this video from this channel right here. You could go check it out if you wish. And the reason I want to show you this is because this person articulates exactly what I'm trying to tell you in such a better way. Because obviously they know how to speak better English and they're probably more educated than me. So I want to hear it from them.
Defending the weak is the new oppression is a quote that I composed recently to describe how Orwellian our culture has become. While the intention to protect the vulnerable is inherently noble and just, it can be manipulated into a new form of oppression. The whole wolves in sheep's clothing metaphor, in order to prey upon the most vulnerable. However, the principle behind this metaphor isn't confined just to religious figures from 2,000 years ago. We're witnessing the same tactic in our modern culture, but this time it's in a secular form. Defending the weak has clearly become trendy and socially advantageous in our modern culture, where it seems that just about everyone wants to be portrayed as a social activist in one form or another. And this has extended beyond individuals, even into business. Companies use defending the weak as branding, and they market everything from men's shaving cream to sneakers. In politics, portraying yourself as the champion of the downtrodden, well, that's a sure way to win votes and paint any opponent as an oppressor. What complicates matters even more is the aggression often behind modern social activism. How, unlike the peaceful approaches of figures such as Martin Luther King Jr., today's social activism, there's often this underlying militancy. There's often anger, rage, and even violence, which begs the question, is today's social activism truly about caring for the weak, or is it driven by something darker, perhaps a desire to indulge our baser instincts under the guise of justice? Is it really motivated by a love for the weak, or is it motivated by the love for power? Now, perhaps that may seem rather harsh assessment, but it's worth noting that history offers up many examples, far too many actually, of very violent and oppressive movements that first began as defenders of the weak. You just have to think of the French Revolution of the late 1800s, or the many Marxist revolutions of the 20th century, and how they all claimed to be fighting for the oppressed. And yet they all ended up being more oppressive than the regimes that they overthrew. Even today, the most oppressive country in the world is North Korea, and how in Orwellian fashion describes itself as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. History clearly demonstrates that the wolf in sheep's clothing metaphor is true across all time.
Narcissists have been behind some of the world's most famous revolutionaries, and yet they were used to gain power for just another oppressor. Now, these are people that thought were doing the right thing. They were trying to help their people and make a difference for freedom and justice, but at the end they were just being used. They were a tool for just somebody else that wanted power, and they used them to get this power.
Behind every noble cause, there's often a hidden agenda. Behind every good cause lurks at least a few sociopaths. And so we should remain skeptical of those who claim to be defenders of the weak.
You see, doing the right thing comes from the heart, not from people telling you what's the right thing, like it's some kind of religion. To tell you to do the right thing, it's not legitimate. To do the right thing because it comes from within, because it's something you actually want to do, that is really doing the right thing. Just following the morality of the group, it's not truly doing the right thing. That's just politics. You're doing the right thing in front of a group of people because they're gonna see you do something amazing, so they could vote for you or whatever you're trying to get and manipulate them. That's part of the manipulation that politicians use. To do the right thing is to do the right thing even nobody is looking. Even if nobody is looking. Just because you're doing the right thing should be the reason you're doing the right thing. Not because you're following a group. I encourage you to always do the right thing because it comes from within. Because you actually want to do it. And the first lesson is never expect anything back. To do the right thing without expecting anything back, it's the right way to do things. If you're doing things because you're expecting something back, then you're technically lying to yourself. You're not really doing the right thing, are you? You're just pretending. And there's a lot of pretenders out there nowadays, especially everybody hiding behind the screens online, and we don't know anybody's real intentions. Nowadays, people lack empathy. And it's crazy that you gotta tell people, but that shouldn't be the way. If you don't know how to do the right thing, I think it's time for you to learn. And look out in the world, and a simple act of kindness could go such a long way. But don't do it for me, and don't do it for the group. Do it for yourself. Do it because you want to do it in your heart, legitly. And little by little, acts like this can definitely change the world into a better place. But at least those are my beliefs, and that's how I like to see things. But you are free to make your own choices, your own actions, and believe whatever you wish to believe. Why? Because that is the way. Thank you guys for watching. I would appreciate it if you leave a like, subscribe, and usually videos like this are not popular in my channel, but I just have to do the right thing. Not for anybody, but because I want to. And I expect nothing back. So don't be pressured to subscribe and like. You do your own thing. I love you all, and peace out, guys.
Baby, I'm almost there. Flying, but I don't care. You and I, we don't die. We survive.